Hi, great minds. This video is for my fellow Nigerians. I want to talk about one key component that we need for the growth and development of Nigeria. And what is that thing? It's the power of thought. Now, in my conversations with people, I've come to discover that a lot of us have not started applying the power of thought to our nation, Nigeria. What is the power of thought? As a man thinks, so he will be. Why is that so? It's so simply because thought is energy. Thought is power. Thought, creation in itself, the universe manifested as a result of thought in the mind of God. Thought, when you think something, the next step is to manifest it. When you consistently think about something, you create a spiritual counterpart of that thing, and the manifestation begins to come. That's why it is said that faith is the substance of all things hoped for. When you talk about faith, you talk about building an imagination of what you want desired. If you want a Mercedes-Benz today, you start imagining yourself driving a Mercedes-Benz. Sometimes you see yourself in a Mercedes-Benz. Some people's imagination is so active that sometimes in the night, in their dreams, they begin to see themselves doing those things. Maybe driving that car, living in that big house, marrying that beautiful wife, catching that rich husband. So, there is power in what we think. And we need to start applying it to our nation. Now, the mystery behind this is that when you think something, you begin to galvanize the spiritual energy needed for that thing to come to pass, for that thing to manifest itself. Now, that's why at all points you have to be positive. Because when you're positive, you attract the resources, the people, and the things you need to manifest the success you desire. Because sometimes when you're working on projects or when you're working on things, you find out that by your visible thinking, by your third eye of imagination, you may not be able to come up with any solution. But if you just believe, if you just have faith, if you just think it, that a success will come, mysteriously, a solution will come to that problem. So, if we must grow Nigeria, then I think that we need to apply the power of thought. That's one of the cardinal things, or that's one of the cardinal pillars of our success. We need to think it. We need to believe in that thinking. We need to accept the fact that we can do it. Because the truth is we can. We're over 400 million in Nigeria. So what are we saying? Are we saying that 400 million people in the confines of a geographical location called Nigeria cannot actually actualize a noble vision? No, I don't think so. I think that we have the capacity. We have what it takes. We have the determination. We have the sheer strength. We have the force. We have the energy needed to achieve the success we desire. And the truth is we can achieve it. But let's start with our thinking. When you start with the thought of it, it will permeate, it will soak our whole being. It will influence everything we say, do, and aspire to. Why? Because we have started thinking aright. Thought has a force. Thought has a force, a strong force. And that force has the power, the capacity to transform the material world. Because everything we see in the material world was once a thought in the mind of somebody. Is it your phone? Is it your car? Is it the cloth you're wearing? Or is it the machine that sews the cloth? Or is it the pen you're holding to write? Is it the book you're reading or the paper you write on? These things were all once thought to be impossible. I'm not saying we have to invent scientific things to become successful. No. What I'm just trying to say is that these things were in the minds of the people as a thought. It started in their minds as thoughts. If I give a very crude illustration, we all knew that before we started having these boats, speed boats, and all these cruise liners and all that, in the ancient time, in the 15th, 16th, 17th century, what we had was steam engines. Or is in the 18th century, we had steam engines. From steam engines, we started having boats that use engines that are not steam, because steam was too expensive to maintain. Military now has submarines. There was no submarine in the time of Christ or even in the 10th century. But let me take us back a little. The idea behind steam engine was actually thought of by Hanno in 430 something BC, or thereabout, 430 something or 450 something. I can't really recall. But he was the first person, Hanno. He was the first person that designed a steam engine and said it could power vessels, it could power boats. And how many years did it take for a steam engine to be created? It took close to 2,000 years. No, more than 2,000 years, because we're talking of 4 something. And we're talking of, I don't know when the first steam engine was invented, but it should be about 18 something or early 19 something. I don't know. So, when you think something, it comes to pass. Leonardo da Vinci in the 14th century drew an aeroplane. He had the idea of an aeroplane, and today we have aeroplanes. So, what idea do you have within you? What idea do you think about consistently? And what idea are you asking the God of your mind to bless you with? Because the gift of a man makes a way for him. Your gift is the ideas that you have within. Those ideas will make a way where there seems to be no way, because we are created in the same image that created the universe. We are created in the same image. Hence, we can make a way where there seems to be no way. If there seems to be no way in Nigeria, it's because we have not looked at it from another perspective. Because sometimes when you have problems as a leader and you look at it from another perspective, you begin to see solutions. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What is in your thought? Let us think Nigeria. Let us think greatness. Let us believe we can make it. Let us believe in a greater future for ourselves. For we as a nation stand at a crucial epoch. We stand on the verge of something great if we inject our potentials into the world stage. I believe in us and I believe in you. I believe if you think it, then you can work it out. For as the mind thinks, so it manifests. Impossibility does not exist. Everything ever conceived by the mind can be achieved. Impossibility never exists to those who believe. Think your way to success. Think your way through success, because you're a success. You're a champion. Walk like a champion and talk like a champion. Believe that you're a champion, and your championship will impact on Nigeria and make a better nation out of us. Cheers. Hi, great minds. This video is for my fellow Nigerians. I want to talk about one key component that we need for the growth and development of Nigeria. And what is that thing? It's the power of thought. Now, in my conversations with people, I've come to discover that a lot of us have not started applying the power of thought to our nation, Nigeria. What is the power of thought? As a man thinks, so he will be. Why is